Hey guys, King of Charmanders here, and today I bring to you the best meta Dragon Attack / Crit Boost armor for the Driftsmelting event. This video covers the best armor to consider Driftsmelting during the upcoming Driftsmelt Bonanze event. This event will release mysterious Driftstone A that provides Dragon Attack and Critical Boost if you Driftsmelt it onto your armor. And I will have no Driftsmelt builds in this video. More info on that near the end of this video on why I'm not going to add any builds onto this video. First, we're going to start off with my favorite part of this video, Dragon Attack and Crit Boost Driftsmelting odds. So due to a hidden variable, the odds of getting the best specific skills in Driftstones are 3.3%. This means that Mysterious A Driftstone will give Dragon Attack and Critical Boost at a 3.3% probability. That's really low. In addition, the rest of the skills are 5% probability except for Aggressive Dodger, which is considered a best skill at 3.3%. These are extremely low odds. Make sure you consider the time and effort it will take for the gear you want to get Dragon Attack / Crit Boost. You have a week. In that week, you must hunt enough monsters to get said Driftstones and hope that you get lucky enough to where if you are using Insta Smelt, that after hopefully not like 100 or 200 smelts later, you have all the gear you want that have Dragon Attack or Crit Boost. So again, a lot of effort, a lot of time, and a lot of really hard pain and heartache and praying to RNGs that you get the skill you want right away after you get your Driftstone from the monster. Now that the disclaimer has been said, here are the best Dragon Attack Driftsmelt armor. So these are the best pieces of armor you will Driftsmelt into as far as Dragon Attack. And of course, that's the Dragon Attack set, which starts off with the Deviljho Helm. The Deviljho Helm requires grade 8 to unlock its Driftsmelt slot. It already has one level of Dragon Attack and also provides Slugger level 2 at grade 6. And because of that Slugger level 2, this piece is perfect for hammer mains and light bowgun users using sticky ammo. So anything that stuns, the SNS can stun as well. Anything that stuns will benefit from this, and you should totally use it. With the Dragon Attack Driftstone, this piece will have 2 levels of Dragon Attack. So at full power, 2 levels of Dragon Attack and 2 levels of Slugger, which is the sweet spot for stunning, is absolutely amazing, and this piece is totally worth it. Next up, we have the Pink Rathian Mail. The Pink Rathian Mail requires grade 8 to unlock its Driftsmelt slot. It already has 1 level of Dragon Attack and also provides Focus level 1 at grade 6, making this piece perfect for weapons that benefit from focus like the bow and the greatsword, especially the bow. The bow needs Focus level 5, that's the meta 9 times out of 5, or I mean 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the best one for bows. Focus 5. And with the Dragon Attack Driftstone, this piece will have 2 levels of Dragon Attack. I remember having this debate with people that were like, oh my gosh, Puke, but how about the Puke Mail? It's cheaper. This is a perfect example why cheaper doesn't mean better. The Dragon Attack is an undriftsmeltable skill, but at the same time, now that you Driftsmelt it, guess what? This is the piece that you're going to want to do it in. The Puke Mail is borderline useless outside focus and its resistance. And what I mean by borderline useless is in regards to its second skill. You're not going to want poison resistance, you want something like Dragon Attack. So for those of you that invested in the Puke Mail, instead of this one, you totally missed out, especially if you really want Dragon Attack now. Those of us like me that did invest into this, rejoice. You have something that's totally worth it, and now you won't have to backtrack if you're going from the Puke Mail to the Pink Rathian Mail. And last but not least, for the best piece of Dragon Attack Driftsmelt armor, we have the Deviljho Coil. The Deviljho Coil requires grade 8 to unlock its Driftsmelt slot. This is the only armor piece that gives 2 levels of Dragon Attack at grade 6, making this the most valuable piece in terms of Driftsmelting Dragon Attack, because this piece allows you to get to Dragon Attack level 2 with 1 or 2 pieces of Dragon Attack gear. If one of those pieces has Dragon Attack Driftsmelted into it and provides Dragon Attack level 2. 2 plus 3 equals 5. Thankfully it's basic math because I suck at math. But yes, that's why you only need 1 or 2 pieces. The other 2 pieces, what I mean by 2 pieces in this case is that if you have this one and you have other 2 with level 1, that's 5. But with 2 pieces, it's even better because you can have 1 with 2 and 1 with 3. So this is incredibly powerful and makes it really good, especially if you can't fully Driftsmelt a full build onto something. With just 2 Dragon Attack Driftstones, you can have your Dragon Attack level 5 gear that you want, or Dragon Attack level 4. Moving on, we have the nice to have armor with Dragon Attack Driftsmelted. So there's only 2 pieces that are okay targets for Dragon Attack that are remaining as far as things that already have it. And both of these pieces of gear require grade 8 to unlock their Driftsmelt slots. Deviljho Vambraces have Dragon Attack level 1 and Peak Performance level 2 at grade 6. The problem is Peak Performance, because Peak Performance needs to be at full HP for its attack power bonus. If you're even 1 HP below it, you don't get the bonus. So, again, that's why it's nice to have. The next one is the Pink Rathian Greaves, which have Dragon Attack level 1 at grade 6 and Special Boost level 2. This is the last piece you should consider Driftsmelting into, because Special Boost is a very niche skill, and there are better gear out there to Driftsmelt Dragon Attack. In fact, some of the things that don't have Dragon Attack are way better to Driftsmelt on, because this piece, again, doesn't have a very useful secondary skill. Moving on, we have Meta Melee Armor to Driftsmelt Dragon Attack. So this is melee armor that doesn't have Dragon Attack already on it, but it is definitely meta. And all these pieces require grade 8 to unlock their Driftsmelt slot. Puke Helmet is the greatest of all time as far as helms, being the meta helmet for many builds, giving weakness exploit level 2 and lock on. No, seriously. For elemental builds, for status sneak attack, this is the GOAT. So for that reason, it's totally worth investing in, and it's going to be meta for a very long time. Rathian Mail, or the Odo Mail, gives weakness exploit level 2 or critical eye level 2. Both are the meta for crit builds. So because both of these give that level 2 for either one of the affinity skills, you definitely want to use it and Driftsmelt into it. Next up, Rathian Vambraces are the best burst gear, giving burst level 2 and lock on. So best burst skill, best burst build gear. So literally for if you're making burst level 5 or going on to full burst, you definitely want this. And it's especially good for Deviljho dual blades because it gives burst level 2 at grade 8. This piece plus those dual blades, you already have burst level 4 and lock on. Next up, you have the Pink Rathian Coil, which gives critical eye level 2 and is a staple for crit builds. Since this piece came out, or the Pink Rathian species became known, critical eye level 2 with this waist has been the meta. So you definitely want to consider it, or Driftsmelt your Dragon Attack into it. Next up, you have the Kuluyaku Greaves. Those amazing legs also give critical eye level 2, and it is the cheapest crit build meta armor. It is one of 2, well, it's one of the weakest monsters in the game, and again, it is giving you crit eye level 2, just like the Pink Rathian Coil, except it's not a subspecies, it's a monster that's easy to beat, and it is meta for crit builds. And these are the pieces you want to consider for melee armor for Dragon Attack when you Driftsmelt into them. Now that we covered melee, we have ranged, and there are 2 ranged weapons in the game so far, starting off with the bow. This is the meta bow armor to Driftsmelt Dragon Attack, and all these pieces require grade 8 to unlock their Driftsmelt slot. First, we have the Deviljho Helm, which is the staple for Dragon Attack for focus level 2. The helm slot usually doesn't carry other important skills for the bow, or there's other things you can flex with it. That's why the Deviljho helmet has been absolutely amazing. And you probably have a lot of stuff Driftsmelted into it like I do already, so you definitely want to Driftsmelt Dragon Attack onto it. For the arm slot, you have the Kushala Deora Vambraces, which are one of the best focus pieces in the game because it carries Evade Extender level 1 along with Focus level 1. This makes it perfect to Driftsmelt Dragon Attack. This used to be the Black Diablo's arms, which had it in this slot, but it doesn't have Evade Extender, it just has another niche skill. Because of that, Kushala Deora Vambraces are now the meta for the Focus level 1 arm slot. Gyrototus is the second best Focus level 2 piece to Driftsmelt Dragon Attack on. There are a few skills that could benefit bow users in this slot. It's been out here forever, you've probably built it forever at this point, or building towards it if you are a bow main, and it definitely has, if you've just smelted a ton of skills into it like I have, you might as well invest into it. And last but not least, we have the Nightshade Palumu Mail, which isn't available right now unless you play the Dark Daydreams paid ticket event. Luckily, it is the last piece you want to consider for Driftsmelting Dragon Attack. It is great for the body, however, there's very limited builds where this fits in. Your main two pieces will be the Rathian helmet and Gyrototus Greaves. So again, limited builds. Don't stress about it, don't worry about it. It's just a nice to have. If you have it and you want to drift smelt into it, go ahead, it's totally worth it. Now that we cover the bow, we have the second weapon of the range set. This is the Meta Light Bowgun armor to Driftsmelt Dragon Attack. And all these pieces require grade 8 to unlock their Driftsmelt slot. The Palumu Mail is a staple for recoil down level 2. There aren't many skills for Light Bowgun that benefit this slot, so Dragon Attack is perfect. Palumu Mail, amazing. Been here for a while. Mine is decked out with Driftsmelt skills, so I'm definitely going to put my Dragon Attack onto this one. The Pasarios Van Braces are the last piece to consider for Light Bowgun. There's many pieces of gear that are needed for this slot for a lot of builds. Driftsmelt Dragon Attack only when you've got it on the rest. This is the brand new flex piece for the Light Bowgun, and it gives you recoil down level 2 at the Van Braces slot. But it might not be the best one because Palumu Mail's been out forever, so if you don't have it, don't worry about it, just do it for the Palumu Mail. Coral Puke will be the meta Light Bowgun piece for a while, so it's perfect for Dragon Attack. Just smelt it onto this thing. It's going to be here for a very long time, and if you want Dragon Attack on it, it's definitely needed for it. And last but not least, you have Rathian Greaves, which is another staple for its reload speed level 2 and its importance for a fire element Light Bowgun build. It is also perfect for Dragon Attack. But we've been talking so much about Dragon Attack. What about Critical Boost? Well, this is why you shouldn't Driftsmelt Critical Boost. I'm gonna give you some armor, but in all honesty, Crit Boost isn't as important as Dragon Attack level 5. There's a small chance in the future high levels become meta. And this is for, if you're an analyst and been doing this for a while, this is because in order for Crit Boost to do big numbers, you need two things: high critical chance and high base damage. If you're not going to have that chance to hit anyways, what the heck does it matter? And at the same time, you need high base damage. With high base damage plus percentages equals even more big damage. But when you don't have that high base damage, it's gonna be low. So unless you meet these two criteria, you're not gonna do huge numbers with Critical Boost. And this is why Elemental Attack level 5 and Burst level 5 take priority. You want that high attack and high elemental attack before you go into the crit category. However, there is one scenario where Critical Boost barely matters. For the top raw melee Driftsmelt builds, the highest damage build uses high levels of crit boost but requires the Lunar Mask, which has no use other than this build. If you look at the damage difference, it's 0.21%. It's funny because someone put this out to me and they're like, no, it's not the best one, blah, 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 blah. Well, here's the thing. The reason why I didn't promote this build, again, it's the Lunar Mask. It's limited. It's probably not going to come back for a long time. No use in you FOMOing over it. But also, the second build uses low levels of crit boost, but uses the Coral Puke Helm, which is flexible for many builds. In other words, invest in the Coral Puke Helm. It will be meta for a very long time. For the Coral Puke Helmet, it is meta for a lot of the elemental builds as well as status sneak attack. You can also use it to flex a lot because when it comes to the helm slot, there's a whole lot of things that don't fit in there. And there are plenty of other options for lock-on, especially in terms of melee. I had someone troll me and they were like 90%. King of Charmanders doesn't know he's talking about 90% of the time. Well, you person that is like literally HR 170 when I was looking at their profile just for the heck of it, you have no idea what you're talking about. You would be like the other person like this that would promote the other build, which at 0.21% and for one piece of gear isn't the most resourceful or efficient use of your resources. So, in other words, use the second build, use low levels of crit boost. But again, this is the justification of why crit boost just isn't worth drift smelting. But if you want to drift smelt crit boost or you're curious about it, here is the best gear to drift smelt critical boost on. And it's all the pieces that give you the critical boost skill already. All these pieces require grade 6 to unlock their drift smelt slots. Rathian Van Braces are the best piece to drift smelt crit boost on because it has crit boost level 2 at grade 6. In addition, the Rathian Coil is the second piece you should consider. It has critical boost level 1 at grade 5. And if you do have it, and if you want to do it, even after all the data I've given you, the Lunar Helm is the last piece you consider if you can build it. But even then, this piece does not have any other use other than a raw Driftsmelt build. Not great for your resources. Do it on the other two. If you don't have it, don't worry about it, because I'm not going to do it on mine either. And before closing, why I'm not making Driftsmelt builds for Dragon Attack or Grip Boost. Here's the thing, this Driftsmelt event sets the stage for bigger possibilities. There are better Driftsmelt skills that can't be smelted right now that would create more powerful builds like focus, reload speed, recoil down, etc. Per my research, there's likely going to be a new meta come the September major update. This is only 2 months away, so it's really close. That being said, 2 months, I'm not going to invest in anything that would take a whole lot of my time or money. That's just a smart thing to do. In addition, it's like, okay, as a Capcom creator, I can't promote leaked content anyways. But if you do your due diligence and you do your due research, you can find a lot of things and you're like, this looks really good in the future. Or, this might actually be amazing. If something is this close as far as a major update, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Driftsmelting is extremely hard. After 300 plus Driftsmelts, I only have 2 full Driftsmelt builds. Even if you spend real life money, you still need to hunt the monsters and still need to be lucky enough to roll what skills you want. There's this stigma going around that whales or everyone like myself are like, oh yeah, I can buy materials to the game. No, in order for me to Driftsmelt, it's just like everybody else. I must kill said monsters, hopefully said monsters drop the Driftstone I want, and yeah, I could double those Driftstones, but I have to be lucky enough to go against the 3.3% or the 5% for the skills that I want. It is still really hard. The reality is, when you spend money, it just makes the game faster for you and gives you more chances. That doesn't mean it's easier. You still have to put in a whole lot of work. But what do I know? I only spent a ton of money on the game, and someone that hasn't obviously knows way more than I do about spending money on the game when they haven't spent much of it at all. Right?
You wanna go hunt things? I'm in the cave over by Chopolan Village. You got it. I'll be waiting near the gate. Huh?
Oh, I love anime, but that also perfectly defines my life. Did I do my homework? Well, yeah, I'm doing a whole lot of homework when it comes to this type of stuff because I'm very interested in it. It was 1,000 times worse in Pokemon Go PvP because you have like 600 Pokemon and every 3 months the meta is changing. So it was much more of a nightmare than this. With that being said, remember, Driftsmelting content should be treated like a bonus. Not everyone has the time or resources to go after full Driftsmelt builds, and you do not need them to do well for the Monster Hunter Now endgame. I know, like, completionists and everyone are, like, shooting daggers at me around, but that's the reality of it. If you have full builds without Driftsmelts, you'll do just fine. Take your time. After 2 full Driftsmelt builds and over 300 plus Driftsmelts, I personally will not go after anything but super weapon full Driftsmelt builds. Unless it's a super weapon, I'm not full Driftsmelting it. I also do a lot of research on future metas and will make Driftsmelt videos if they are worth looking into. Speaking of a lot of homework, unless they're worth looking into or making, I'm not going to make content on it. I am very aware of how hard it is because I have the experience, I've spent the money and time to Driftsmelt anything. That's why some of my subscribers are like, hey, why don't you just put Driftsmelt right after the other one? It's not that easy. If I do that, I create FOMO or possible FOMO for one of my viewers about going after something that might not be relevant literally 2 months later. So again, unless it's a super weapon, Black Diablos Boku Shalabo, it's not worth me making a video on it unless it's actually worth looking into, like the flex build for my crit build, etc. So unless it's worth it, I'm not making it on it. Please do me a huge favor, like, subscribe, and comment for the YouTube algorithm. Speaking of Driftsmelts, good luck on your Driftsmelts, your drops, and your Driftsmelts for this event. Good luck on your grinds, and I will see y'all on the next video.